and welcome to Neat and Not by the Sea Flosstube video, I think it's number 40. It is Monday the 28th of November.
Don't know.
It's a day, 2022. And this is our last Flosstube video.
Kia ora, my name is Catherine and we are filming in my little house today. Hi, am I?
And Catherine didn't pick up when I said last video for the year. We'll be back in January. I'm
That's
assuming.
Right. Yeah, because I'm going on holiday soon.
Yeah.
I should say my pronouns are she, her. I forgot.
Yes, and also when you say soon, you mean in like 4 days.
Yes. Okay, so
What are we doing? What have we been doing? So, we were supposed to film last Thursday, but I had a Embroiderers Guild meeting, so I have officially joined the Embroiderers Guild. I have paid my dues,
exciting.
so that'll be good for next year. And what else has been happening? What have you been up to?
I've done far more socialising than I ever want to, so I'm quite knackered. And the socialising continues. My big news is my house. So we put the house on the market. It went for tender, and it's sold. And today, I don't know if you're not in New Zealand, you won't know, but here you can put conditions on buying a house, and so you've got a certain amount of time to fulfill those conditions, and it could be things like getting a builder's report and kind of be satisfied with that, and you can put subject to the approval by my lawyer or whatever. So they had a few conditions that were a non-event. I wasn't concerned, but they went unconditional 3 days early, which is great.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, but because we're going on holiday on Saturday, we knew we wouldn't have to. We had to presume that it would go unconditional, and we actually emptied the house at the weekend. We still had quite a few things, and I've never moved by myself. We've always got people in to move us. So I don't know. I think because we already were living in Waikouaiti and we kind of have been bringing things to this house, that I felt that there was no point in paying movers. Mm-hmm. It kind of felt like, well, there's hardly anything. Not true. There was a lot.
So looking back on the experience, you should have paid for movers.
Oh, I'm cheap at, so I'm happy to have done it. It's funny because the house has been on the market for, well, we tried last year and then we took it off the market, but it suddenly felt like we had no time. And that always happens, I think. I mean, it was an experience. Through this process, we've hired a van twice now. Martin's driven a van. That's such a Kiwi thing to do. I don't think Martin had ever driven a van like that in the UK for any reason. And we'd always moved to different cities in the UK, so you pay for removal people to, well, that's what we chose to do. Do you know, I probably would pay next time just because I don't want to be this knackered. I was quite knackered because I've been doing a lot of the thinking behind the move and everything. Martin hates, well, he might see it differently, but he kind of hates mess and disorder. And so, yeah, I've been having to do a lot of the thinking behind, although he was great and he did book the van, and we decided in the end to rent storage unit because we're going on holiday on Saturday. And my studio's arriving on Thursday. It's like, oh. And initially I was going to do like magic and bring things to the house, and then on Thursday move things to the studio and make room for the house. And then I thought, you know, Catherine, be kind to yourself. Just go on your holiday. In 6 months' time, you'll forget about the cost of hiring the storage space and everything like that. So,
Ooh, was it not pretty?
Well, the van was like 250 for a day, and I think the storage is like 220 per month. But because of when we're leaving, it's going to end up being 2 months, so that's annoying. But you know, it is what it is. So yeah, and then we had to move on Saturday. We did all the moving on Saturday, and then we had Martin's work due in the evening. And at one point it did look like I was going to go straight from moving to the event, but we managed to wangle it. Martin said, instead of going to get the car, let's just drive to Waikouaiti in the van. So we did that, and we had 20 minutes for both of us to have a shower, change, and go back out.
Nice.
Oh, shall we tell about texting you?
Yep, so I got a text from Catherine about 20 minutes after I got home from doing some messages in town.
Messages. Note that.
Asking if I could... She'd left a window open in the Port Chalmers house, so she asked if I could close that, and if I could pretty please go and get some dog food and feed her dog. And I had to text her back and say, Catherine, I've only got $6 in my account. It's payday tomorrow and there's no $6 dog food. And she doesn't eat wet food, so I was... Poor Star didn't have any dinner.
But it was hilarious. It was like, Victoria, how old are you?
I'm old enough to only have six. I didn't run out. The budget lasted the week.
Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, the budget does not account for friends phoning saying, oh, please feed my dog. Because what we do is we don't like to leave the dog alone in Waikouaiti for a really long day and into the evening. Mm. So we take her to the other house where there's a deck and she's undercover and it is nicer. But what I should have done is taken my clothes for the event and taken the dog food, and then we could have had a shower in port, which is always ready for us to have a shower, but we just didn't think of it. So I was wearing a nice tunic top, but very much day wear, and very polyester trousers that my friend had given me, because I never say no to gifts. Like hand-me-downs, I never say no. Do you want these polyester trousers? Sure. And then trainers, like they didn't even go. It was like complete hobo, sort of, not a good look. And of course I was going to meet Martin's colleagues from his new job at the museum, so I had to impress people. So anyway, it worked out. I had time to impress people. Nice. Because in between that I'd phoned Diana. I was like, Diana, what's your shoe size? Can I borrow a pair of shoes? So that worked out, and so even though I was really exhausted, we did go out. And we had a boogie. Martin and I had a boogie, which he resented. But I made him... We were the only couple dancing. It was kind of like a jazz band. But we dance every 4 or 5 years. We do one song, which I love. But then that's as much energy as I want to spend on the dance floor.
Done. Take that done for the next...
Yeah, for the next 5 years. But it was very cute.
Lovely.
And his colleagues are very friendly. And I knew a couple of people already. So, yeah, it's great.
Nice.
So that was my big news. The house and the studio coming on Thursday. So the next time we film here... which won't be the next time, but the one after, because we do turnabouts, it will be from the studio probably.
So exciting. Yes. Yeah, so I think we'll be back probably mid-January.
Yeah.
By the time everything sort of shuffles all down.
By the time I get over my jet lag.
Hopefully we might have advanced some projects. Yes.
And the other thing that I did is I went to the Dunedin Pride AIDS quilt exhibition that they had. I'd never seen an AIDS quilt, which is, I don't know how many countries did AIDS quilts during the AIDS pandemic. But I know that there are quilts in America, AIDS quilts in America, and I think there is even a museum in London for the English AIDS quilts.
So why did it become a thing? What was the...
I think it became a thing in America because America has a strong tradition of quilt making. Mm-hmm. So it was a way of process grief and honor people that had passed away.
Okay.
So, I mean, so many, and very much at the beginning, I think so many young and older men, gay men died. And we forget now because now there is so much more acceptance. It was just a really difficult time for people. Gay people, their families, their friends. There was so much loss and so much sorrow that it was just a very visual way to process but honor the people. So I don't know names of things, but I think, correct me if I'm wrong, so American viewers, you'll know more about this. I think in America there is, I know stuff. There is, it might be in Washington, there's like a really important avenue that probably leads to the White House. I'm not sure.
Oh, with the Washington Memorial at the end.
Perhaps. And I know that during the many protests with Black Lives Matter, they actually painted Black Lives Matter on it. One of the, I think it might have been, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it was New York. I'm not sure. It was one of the big cities, one of the significant cities that people outside of America would know. Anyway, they displayed AIDS quilts all along there. I mean, there's kilometers of AIDS quilts in America. So anyway, I went to the one in Dunedin because I've never seen, I mean, I'm really interested from a textile perspective. I think it's really interesting social history, and textiles always end up enmeshed, and it's really interesting. But I'm also really interested from a purely like social justice perspective. So it's very good. I also, I'm friends with the chairperson of the Dunedin Pride branch in Dunedin, and and they know me really well. So they were like, Catherine, come up forward, there won't be anyone.
Nice.
I turned out, there's loads of people. I was like, what is this nonsense? You should all be at work until 5. You shouldn't be skiving.
Is it still on display, or was it just
no,
one
it was
evening?
just one day, because it belongs to the. They're the property of what used to be called the AIDS Foundation in New Zealand, but it's now called the Burnett Foundation for some reason. So they flew them down, or maybe they couriered them down, and then they couriered them back up. So it was just one day. But also, the other thing that drew me, apart from those important reasons, is that just because we speak English in New Zealand, you can sometimes become confused and think it's just like England, and it really isn't. New Zealand is such a different country to England, and I was just really interested in how New Zealand had processed this that had happened. And of course, AIDS became a problem not just in the gay community, but also people that had blood transfusions, haemophiliacs, and women as well. So there was one quilt, and also the other thing that I didn't realize is they made them to the measurements of a standard graveside.
Oh, I hadn't realised that.
Yeah, so that was interesting. But there was some very moving bits. There was one that was for women, and they had a phrase in Te Reo Māori that melded into an English phrase as well, which I thought was quite beautiful. There were 2 quilts where I almost cried, but I didn't, because let's not cry in public if we don't have to. And so these were people that had died in the 1990s, so 95 thereabouts, a very different world from now. And one of them had been made by the dad, and I can just imagine how much harder it would have been. And then they also had booklets and sort of albums with stories in them, and there was one about someone had died, and then the day after they'd gone to see Philadelphia at the cinema. You remember Philadelphia?
Mm-hmm.
Tom Hanks, and that was the, well, from my perspective as a non-gay person, that was a very clear message of what AIDS looked like for people. So you had the skin lesions, and so in the little script, oh God, we're always keeping it light here, aren't we? Sorry, that's my pen. Victoria wouldn't do this, it's me. It was talking about how the son of the family had passed away, and the day after, the doctor and the parents had gone to the cinema to see Philadelphia that had come out, and that was the first time they realized that their friends and neighbors had also gone to see that film, and they would now know that what had killed their son/brother was AIDS, because they'd also been emaciated and in wheelchair and with the lesions in their skin. And how when people realized, a few people turned away and they weren't supportive, but most people were very supportive and came to their aid and support, and I thought that was quite beautiful. Because let's not forget that people were also scared, I think. I can't imagine, because I was so young in the 90s. I mean, I was married. Child bride. But it was such different times. I mean, I say this, but I'm also really aware that all over the world they're changing laws to make life really impossible for people that are not just heterosexual.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of a nonsense statement, because I was about to say, nowadays we just accept people.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it would be kind of a non-event if one of my children came and said they were gay or bisexual. But I think, I remember in the 90s, like, because we were like the cool parents, because I have stepchildren, like the thing we did was like always reassuring the kids, if you were gay it was okay, but it was very over the top reassurances. Do you remember that time when it was like, you can be who you are and we love you?
Vaguely, but I mean...
Because now it just kind of feels like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it's much more of a non-event. And,
Yeah, it's more of a non-event.
well, not, it's an event if it's you going through it, but you're right, it's not as...
It doesn't have a sense of confessional, like,
No.
but then depends on the country.
Yeah, and the family and the upbringing, but...
Yeah, and the location, the geography of where you're living in New Zealand. So anyway, it certainly would not be a problem in our family. But I think way back it was much harder for people and people trying to be kind. But then after that, sorry, now it's 15 minutes and 58 seconds. But then I finally felt that I had the energy to watch It's a Sin. Have you seen it?
That was the TV show that came out
On Netflix. It was on Netflix. Because I did not have the mental...
Is that the 6 boys?
Yeah.
And yes, I did watch it. I watched it at the
I
time.
don't think it's 6 boys.
Oh.
It's a crowd of youth
A crowd of youth. Yeah, flatting
in London.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's very sad. I watched it at the time.
Also, I couldn't cope. I just, when your life is already challenging, it's like, I'm not going to watch sad things. So anyway, I got back. And then when I went to Martin's work do, one of his colleagues, we ended up talking about gay films. Oh, have you watched this? Have you watched that? And they recommended a couple. But they also said, I don't know if you know this, but if you're looking for a film and you don't know who's streaming it, you can search for the name of the film and then add flicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that because I'm not in my 30s.
Yeah, no, often I just Google even the name of the film or the movie and then put NZ at the end and something will come up like who's streaming. Quite often it's no one because New Zealand is bloody useless. But
anyway, I found it. But yeah, Flix is a New Zealand site, so you can find things like that. So that was young people telling me about the world. So I got home and I watched it in one evening because I'd had art class, and in art class the lecturer offers us coffee, and I just don't have the strength of character to say no, even though I know it's got caffeine. So I have it half coffee and half water, but I'm still like, ah. So I was like, okay, I'm going to stay awake until 1 because that's what happens. I'm just going to watch all of it. It's a sin. And I didn't find it, I mean, it was sad, but it wasn't heartbreaking in the way it would have been if I'd watched it a year ago. Because when life's tough, like, everything is overwhelming and just too sad. There was the distance of history for me. And didn't you think the mum was great? Like, the mum of is it Richie? The last boy to die.
the one that you wouldn't think would because...
He goes to the Isle of Wight to die. And the mum, horrid woman, it was such good acting, such good playwriting. And she was just hideous.
Yes, she was.
She was, but I just thought, oh my God, you're an amazing actress. You're being a witch so well. Anyway, I really recommend it. And really interesting as well to kind of learn about people's slow and gradual acceptance of what was happening. Because quite right, they're saying, you're just inventing this to make us feel guilty about our lifestyle choices. So yeah, very interesting. You really needed to hear all that.
All right, shall we
talk stuff?
Shall we change gear?
Yeah, I'll eat some chocolate because I got myself another ginger beer because I'm hot.
So have you got any finishes?
No.
Have you got any fully finishes?
No.
Do you have any cross stitch whips?
I do.
Woohoo! I was going to say no, and I'm like, this is going to be such a short video.
I was off sick today. That's why I have some whip work. Because I was just so tired from the move. There was just no way. And I thought, I'm taking a physical health day.
Yeah. Yep.
So I have made progress. In fact, I made progress over the weekend. I don't know why I didn't make progress before that. I couldn't find my glasses. My +4 glasses.
Don't you have like 4 pairs of those now?
I do, and who knows where they are. I think they might be in this with the other projects that I wasn't supposed to touch because I've already worked on them.
Yeah.
Anyway, shall I start?
Yes, you start.
Okay, so I've been working on, I don't have glasses, so anyway.
Dutch Beauty.
Dutch Beauty by Permin, which is humongous and lovely and very muted. And of course I'm not doing that. So I'm just checking that I don't drop some floss. Okay, great. So what I've done this week is I have completed the little buds and the bigger flowers all along.
All the way around.
All the way around.
Good job. That's so much starting and stopping with your
I was
trees.
good. There was no carrying. There was starting and stopping. I'm very good.
Good job.
And the other thing that I really enjoyed, I'm just going to show you all around because it's all the same, but obviously thrilling for you. But what I really enjoyed, this is the bit that, you know, Victoria and I are not the same. There are so many mistakes, and it was just such a delight to me. I even noticed, is that number 3? I mean, you wouldn't be able to see the mistakes because I'm going too fast. But at some point, I realized I'm like straight, and then I go up. And but, and there's a bit missing. See, okay, I'm not pretending. I love this. Like, it truly makes me happy. And I think this is like 17, 20 and some little girl has made mistakes so she couldn't be asked. I'm just a big girl that couldn't be asked. I just love it because to me that's like the epitome of folk art. Just a little bit mistakey. But this is what makes it sing. Anyway, look at that. There's something missing here. I'm going to leave it. I think it looks super cute. And the other thing I did, because I'm not following the colour scheme, I haven't even checked. I just eyeball it and then I go, nah. But I think it runs, I think it's like blues and yellows on the border. I've done just reds and pinks. So I've got actually, I think 7 different reds and pinks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so I really like that effect because you can't really tell that I have 7, but it just, your eye keeps moving. It creates a lot of movement in the piece, which I think is really beautiful. Yeah. I think it makes it really beautiful. So I'm very happy with that.
It's gorgeous.
So I'm very happy.
It's a large piece, isn't it? Can you show, come back? Ah, look how big that is. That's my hand.
And this was the fabric that I dyed. You have to remind me something, Victoria. This is the stuff that I dyed with the
cochineal.
No, cochineal's pinks, Victoria.
Oh, well, isn't this was the yellow flower thing?
Yes, I know, and it's buddleia, but the yellow pom-pom buddleia, and it's flowering in port. So I have to harvest a great big tub because I love this yellow. I've discovered it in another part, but it's harder to park there, so I'm going to go back to my usual spot. And I need to do it now before I go on holiday, because priorities. So anyway, I dyed this with buddleia, and I love it.
Beautiful.
I've also been thinking about my little house. When I say I have a little house, it is little, and I have a lot of stuff, and I have too much stuff. So I have been thinking about making pillowcases, because have you ever seen Greek embroidered pillowcases? You see them in on Pinterest sometimes. There's a few cultures that did that, but you'll get the linen or hemp with a wide band of like pinks or burgundies, like a really rich red of cross stitch. I think it looks so beautiful. So I thought I would do that. That would use up a lot of my time.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if linen is strong enough for that.
You might have to get some cotton.
Well, they were talking about, because I ended up going down the rabbit hole of watching Ukrainian, Greek, and all that Europe sort of traditions, and how they do use waste cross-stitch fabric.
Yeah, waste canvas.
Yeah, so I might end up doing that. But anyway, lots of plans for things to do. But yeah, I really enjoyed that, and that took a wee while. That's my lovely bag that I love. I love this so much. I'm becoming a calm person in my old age.
You are becoming very calm,
How
regimented. Looks a points meat and everything.
But I didn't make this. I just appreciate the beauty of it. For $1. Anyway.
Good job.
What about you,
Right,
Victoria?
me. So I had out, I'm still in film, yeah, the old favourite, which I was like, look, I could get this finished by next Flosstube. Didn't. And it took way longer for the tiny bit that I did than I anticipated. Good old favourite, Miss Bingley's Library by Plum Street Sampler.
Where's mine? Do you know?
You put it in a frame. In a wooden frame
It
that
is.
you cut.
And then it was in Christina's room, and then we moved it. I think it's under my bed.
I haven't seen it since.
No, next time. I'll compare and contrast.
Yeah, so I'll have this finished by the time you get back from Peru. So we'll have to, early next year, we'll do a compare. So I worked on this bit of the house here. I did some whites and I did the window frames.
That bit takes forever, it has to be said.
I know, I thought, oh, I'll whip this out in an afternoon. It took
No.
forever. And then I realised that I still have got most of the top to finish. So it's coming along and I really like it. It's really sweet.
It is lovely, isn't it?
But I must say, after watching yours, it seems really wrong having a brown door.
I know, it's a bit dull, I have
Yeah,
to say.
it's a bit boring.
It's a bit Regency, isn't it?
Just a bit.
Oh, I watched Persuasion again.
Oh, I haven't even watched the
In
new
Spanish.
one yet.
I know, because you're just not very good with change, Victoria.
I'm
You
not
just
good with change. I like the one with Amanda Root.
This one's good.
We'll give it a go.
The man's kind of sexy,
Oh,
but it's like a modern cool. I like it. I love it, in fact. And it was fun watching it in Spanish,
nice.
learning different words. And then you forget that you're trying to learn new words and sort of paying attention, and it's just like a lovely film. Oh, and the costumes, oh my god. She had this beautiful turquoise, very light turquoise. Oh my god, it's so beautiful.
Gorgeous. Because they did have really bright colours.
This wasn't bright, but
like a lot of variety. They were doing the dyeing. Do you want to go next, or shall I just go next while you finish the chocolate?
no, I'll go next. And then, today, at some point in the afternoon, I had a sneaky nap.
I love a sneaky nap.
I laid down to try and avoid the sun, to read my phone. And then I just stayed there and fell asleep. And I worked. After that, I finally got the energy to get this out. So this is His Eyes on the Sparrow, which, as you all know, I love her work. It's very beautiful.
That's Beth Twist, isn't it?
Yeah. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to get to the tree at the bottom. And so I was going to work my way down. And then I realized, no, you just work your way up. You actually can. It's like the next thing up. So I've started on the tree.
Woohoo!
And I thought, that's a nice bright green. Now, this is quite biblical. So I won't be doing that. I mean, people can do biblical if they want to. I just have no desire. So I have talked about the fact that I probably will have 2 naked ladies, because that'll be more fun. And instead of the snake, I thought I might have like a rainbow flag snake.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I just thought 2 women, a multicolored snake, or let's call it a scarf, or something like that. I just don't want to have the biblical, the heaviness of like, ugh, original sin. Nah. It's really amazing though. I was thinking about this the other day. Tangent alert, by the way. I realized, because I went to Catholic school all my life, apart from 1 year, all my primary and secondary was Catholic. I haven't been baptized, so I'm not Catholic. But all my schooling was Catholic, and I realized that whenever anyone says 33, what do you think when someone says 33?
I wish I was 33.
I think Jesus.
Do you?
Because he died when he was 33. It's like instantly 33 Jesus.
Oh.
It's like, talk about indoctrination.
Yeah. See, I, 666, that's the devil. That's probably the only religious connotations I have with numbers.
Oh, there was a time in school when that became a thing that everybody talked about. It was like 666, whatever. Yeah, that didn't really leave any impact on me. But 33, I realized my first thought is Jesus, and then it might be like, I have 33p left or what cents or whatever. But yeah, interesting. So I'm not really interested in having depictions of the Bible, particularly. If I'm going to have anything Bible-ish, it's going to be like fun Bible-ish. It's not going to be like bad women Bible-ish. No.
What would you consider fun Bible?
2 naked ladies. It's a take on it.
Yeah.
I mean, the Psalms.
Oh no, I thought you meant like if you were doing Bible stuff, you'd choose like a fun bit of the Bible. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
I know.
"Where's the fun bit of the Bible?"
I am being facetious as well. Like I could have a beautiful psalm. I think some of the psalms are beautiful.
Yes.
But generally speaking, I'm not religious. I have a problem with organized religion, if anything. So I believe, but that's very different from. Let's not get into this.
Let's move on. I'll show you what I worked on.
But anyway, I love that. I'm gonna have 2 naked ladies, and I'm not gonna work on any of this whilst I'm on holiday. I'm not taking this. I'm taking my painting stuff.
Oh, I was about to.
You're gonna
at
be
the end
way
we're gonna have a
ahead.
conversation about what you've been working on.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that by the Flosstube filming next year, I'm going to have this project finished, and then none of us have to ever see it again.
Oh.
I love it, and it's beautiful, and it's been so much fun to do. But I was looking through my the journal where I write what I've started and what I've finished, and I realised as soon as I started this one, which was way back at the start of the year, this is what I've spent most of the time on this year. Just keeping up with the class. So this is Northern Expressions Needlework Twisted Band Sampler. I haven't got much further than I was on last time.
Oh, Amy's winning then.
Amy is definitely winning. Although when I saw her last week, she said she hadn't quite got as... She was still working on it.
Well, she posted on Instagram, hi Amy, that her goal was to finish the light blue and the mid blue, I think.
Oh, good job. Yeah, that was my goal too, but look, I only did some of it. I got last month's finished, which was the green. But it's really pretty, and you don't appreciate how pretty it is with all the different stitches until you actually see it, because it doesn't focus very well on the camera.
It is very pretty.
But it's cool. It has been a great one for learning different counted stitches.
Oh, look at how generous your sides are. Look at you.
Yeah, I gave myself a good margin. None of this, I'm going to squeeze it out for the last.
I'm going to save $1.
But that's been me for the last 2 weeks, so a very poor showing on my part.
Oh, was that it?
That's it. That's all she wrote.
She did manage to do shopping though.
Did do shopping.
So what do we do? Because I've got
Do you have any more stitchy stuff?
no, I've got non-stitchy FFOs.
All right, so should we do our shopping? Because our shopping is stitchy related.
Not mine.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, one is, yeah.
So, when I was at the Di Fisher class, there was a woman who had all her bits and pieces in a lovely little cross-stitched etui. And I'm not sure exactly where they got the pattern from, but I bought one. It is...
What, she was selling it? Or did you just go after somewhere and found it?
How did it happen? So no, she wasn't selling it, but she knew the woman who had designed it, and they were coming down to do a class in Dunedin in a week or two. So we just sent a list in, and the person who was running the class did it. It's super cute.
So it's called
Spanish etui.
etui. And that will be because it's black work, right?
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I actually haven't had a proper look. So the
You just
designer...
bought it.
Yeah, that's why I roll. The designer is Helen Pierce.
I'm extrapolating here. And I'll say this has to have some black work, which is why...
Oh, yes, it must, yeah.
Which is why they're calling it Spanish, because it was Catherine of Aragon that popularised it. She married Henry VIII.
Yep. But it's pretty, so I'm going to give that a crack too with all my other jobs that I haven't done.
Of course. Because apparently we've both given up work. Apparently we have time.
No, because I've got to go back to work because I've only got $6 left.
That's right.
Yeah, it's payday today. Woo! Otherwise I wouldn't be out here because it was all, the petrol light was on and it was on its last little...
Hilarious.
And I caved, people. Look what you're all going to be enjoying next year.
She's shopped.
So, if any of you watch
Everybody.
I got the book of days, so I'm going to keep a record of what I do each day, things I get finished. When I have classes, I've got quite a few classes and things coming up next year. It's going to be pretty. I'm going to draw in it, and I'm going to put stickers in it. And, oh look, property of. I should put my name in. I haven't.
I have a question.
Ask away.
So it's called the Book of Days, right?
Yes.
Is that an old idea? Is that what some women had? A Book of Days?
I have no idea.
I don't have my phone. Where's my phone? I normally Google it.
Oh, I think I'm.
Oh yeah.
I was hiding it under my stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. We'll see how long it gets maintained for, because I'm not very good at doing things like this for very long.
I don't know. Because you kept up with your book.
Yeah, but that was easy. That was just starting and finishing. And I haven't started or finished that much this year.
Ah!
What does it say?
Oh, this is hilarious. The Book of Days was designed to consist of matters connected with the church calendar, including the popular festivals.
Lovely.
Interesting.
I love that she's tatting on the front. Or lace work. Whatever.
Bobbin lace.
Bobbin lace.
That's not tatting. Yeah, bobbin lace. I found my bobbin lace kit.
Did you?
It was on top of one of the wardrobes that we sold.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's so full of dust.
And I think that is everything that I bought. Or at least it's all that I bought here.
Cool. I've got
So I'm
shopping.
done.
But my shopping is not really cross-stitch related.
It is.
No, it isn't. In the sense that I don't really like hoops.
It's needlework related.
So the only reason I bought this hoop is because I really want to get into thread painting. And it is, you get a better finish if your fabric is taut. So we talked about this because Victoria's got one of these that she bought.
Yep. Fanny frame.
Yeah, I'm not going to call it that.
Call it Beatrice.
And we looked online because I was not going to spend $200. And then...
I didn't spend $200 either, just saying. It was close, but it wasn't.
Wasn't it more?
It was more than I remembered it being. It was like 160 or something.
Yeah, but then you bought the other hoop, so it was more than $200,
yeah, true.
like 205 or something. I'm not criticizing. It's just that
There's reasons why there's only $6 in my bank account.
and there is reasons why I can afford to go to Peru. Like I'm so cheap in my normal life, like cheap as. We just spend money in different ways. That's all.
Plus, you can't say things like this because Mum might watch this one. Mum, I spend my money. I'm financially very sensible.
What's your mum's name? I forgot.
Judy.
Judy. She's a shocker. I worry about her. If you want to have a coffee and we can like talk about Victoria.
Very financially sensible.
Oh no, Victoria's a professional woman. She can totally manage herself.
I pay my mortgage.
We just do teasing.
Pay my bills.
Anyway,
and
let
I
me
spend
talk
the
about
rest.
what I did.
Sorry, you bought stuff.
So we were talking because we were at a little 3-friend retreat that we'd done in my house. And so Victoria was showing us, and because our other friend, who's also cheap as, probably cheaper than I am, she was like, nah, I'm never spending that money. So we Googled, and we found some that looked exactly the same, but they were made, I don't know where they were made, but they were shipped from China. And they were like $55. And that sounded quite appealing. But then I did another search, and this one was secondhand in New Zealand. And that's more my jam. I like secondhand. So I thought about it for a day and a half. I did it. And then I told Martin about it. And he was like, you're just going to do this where you dither, and then you buy it. And I did. So yeah, I really like rescuing secondhand stuff. I think it's a cool thing to do.
It's a really pretty one. I like the turning in it. I reckon someone's made this. I haven't got mine, but I haven't got the pretty
everybody
turning.
has made this. Like, yeah. I need to tighten it a bit better at the bottom.
Yeah.
But I really like the idea that it's got another life now.
Yeah.
Whoever used it before was done with it, and then I can use it. And I'm not sure, because I don't like hoops. I'm not sure it's going to, like, necessary for me. But I want to try it for thread painting, because I really want to get into that. So we'll see.
And if nothing else, it's a lovely piece lovely thing that you can display something in your studio later.
Yeah, you actually could angle it.
Yes, yeah.
You could do this.
This is
Have it
currently
at
how
an
I've got
angle.
my gold work displayed.
And you have your piece display. I mean, I do think it's nice to have the nice tools when you're doing work. Like, I don't have a problem with that at all. It's just that I resent being told that you need to do things in a certain way. So when people suggest that I maybe ought to get a hoop, I'm like, nah. But yeah, so I'm gonna try it. we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'd love to. I can't wait to try it and we'll get some feedback.
Yeah, because we talked about doing thread painting next year. We were going to do it once a month. We would get together and work on things from that book that you bought.
Yes, from the Inspirations Volume 4,
Yeah.
nothing but lovely. I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah.
Oh, I've put all my craft books in the living room now, and it takes
Nice.
up this much space.
As opposed to.
Yeah, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, great. Yeah, it's a good thing. Actually, what you should do, if you're trying to build up a wee collection, like quickly, is look for the second-hand ones, because you know some of the oldies are the goodies. Yeah, some of the old ones are great. Anyway, I also bought myself an Andean spindle, and I really want to say who it's from. I'll put a link because it's a bit unfair to not tell you the name of the company. This is one of the designs that they use in the Andes. So you have this little cup at the bottom that weighs it down.
How does it work?
And it's, you twirl it, you attach your
Fibre?
yeah, your fibre here with a string. Then you do a half hitch, and then you pull your fibre and you twirl it, and it twists into yarn. I don't know where Martin's going.
Oh.
Anyway,
But like your other one's got a turtle. What does your yarn wrap around as you finish?
it will be on this here.
On the stick. Cool.
Yeah. You end up with a different ones do different things. So this one will end up the yarn like this. And so I mean I just couldn't resist because so beautiful, so beautifully turned, really lovely wood.
Is it from New Zealand or from...
No, it's from a Canadian company actually. It was Xpenny, but I got carried away because it was Peruvian style, Andean style. It could be inspired by Ecuador for all I know, but yeah. And I am going to buy some more in Peru, but the ones in Peru are made for Peruvians that spin. And they're not looking for like the beautifully turned wood and stuff. They just want a tool that they can use. And in fact, there isn't just one style. Because I've come across some videos where there's a few styles. But anyway, I'm really happy with this one. Makes me happy. I'm very happy to get a few beautiful tools. So I got that. And that was very good. And I was quite amazed. The delivery was pretty quick.
Wow, especially for this time of year.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm happy, very happy with that. I have an impression that I bought something else, that I got 3 packages this, but I can't
Excuse
remember. Anyway, in case you're wondering and you live in New Zealand, I just looked up and Trade Me, and this came up. So people do sell stuff secondhand. And also, if you join a guild, if you decide to become sociable and join a guild, quite often people will, you know, they might move on from a craft, or their hands. There are some crafts that are harder on the hands than others. So when you get to a certain age, you might give up a craft, and so sometimes people do give up. They sell their bits and bobs as well.
Or the guilds often have a supply of them, so you can borrow it and try it for a little while. And
Yeah. I do like having my own tools. I think it's nice. And then I quite, and even though the girls don't really live with us anymore, I quite like having things that they can say, oh, can I try this? And then I can take it. That feels nice. Okay, so I've got a couple of things that I finished that are non-stitchy related. Do you have anything else to show before I move on to that?
No, I'm all shopped out.
Okay, cool. So I finally finished some knitted socks.
Love the motley.
Yeah, so this is, I'm trying to use my little bits of variegated yarns. So up there is a bag just with sock yarn. This is from that jumper that I told you about. But I did a minis exchange. Because, you know, you get these, just as in the cross stitch world, you also in the knitting world, you get, what's the matter, darling? What are you after? Oh, can you reach and switch it off at the plug?
Right at the back.
Sorry, we're charging the car and now Victoria. Yesterday she had to feed the dog and now she has to switch off things.
Well, I couldn't feed the dog because I'm poor.
So one of the things, I don't know if they do this in, I think that they must do a variety. I'm not really watching Flosstubes at the moment because I'm just knackered all the time. But in knit world, in the knitting world, quite often there's advent calendars with mini skeins, normally like expensive hand-dyed, variegated, or just beautiful yarns. Those advent calendars cost a packet like $300 or whatever. It's like, there is just no way. So one knitter that I used to watch, that doesn't have a podcast anymore, she organized something where from your own yarns you would just cut 10 meters and make up little mini skeins, and then you would send 24 to some other person and vice versa. So everybody got the excitement of opening a little parcel every day, and it was very cute. Go to your place. That was for the dog. She's just come back from her walk. But I did this about 8 years ago, and I still haven't used them. And this is the problem with like these like marketing driven things. So you're like, oh, I want, but actually there is no room in your life to kind of use those things, and I don't like that. So I really would like to buy some more sock yarn, but I don't need it because I've got so much, so I'm trying to use it up. So anyway, I mean, I love this color.
Yeah,
this is like
stunning.
Gold, mustardy, beautiful. And these are 2 different colors left over from other yarn that I had. And this is nice because the toes, this has got nylon, so it'll make it last a little bit longer. But anyway, I'm happy with these. The truth of the matter is that I don't need any more hand knitted socks, so I don't know what to do. It's a problem. If you watch, I keep talking about Liz from Pyramid Dye Works, and she was talking about, she's also kind of, I mean, and this happens to everybody. You'll reach a point where you're like, okay, my walls are covered in cross stitch now. What do I do now? But it's the same with knitting. Like I've got, I don't know, 6 shawls, 8 cardigans, 2 jumpers, 12 pairs of socks. Like I don't need any more stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I am going to get round to doing that project that I talked about with the dollies for my girls. But yeah, it's a problem. Anyway, happy with the new socks. But I also made my shawl. It's finished, yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's fully finished. It's very hot here. It feels quite muggy. But anyway, I finished my shawl. And this is what I wore to Martin's do. I had Martin's tuxedo shirt.
Nice.
And then this, because you can't trust the place. I thought it was going to be cold. And I was glad to have a shawl. So this was knitted with Barrett Wool Co. yarn. Oh, I've put it inside out. But anyway, beautiful is that mustardy gold colour that I love. And Feather and Fan. Can you see the intentional mistake where I missed? There was supposed to be another ridge there, but I missed it. But isn't it beautiful? It's such an old pattern, that one. I think it's from the Shetland Isles. Anyway, gorgeous. I'm very happy with it. And of course I put it on, and what did Sophia say? Go Highlanders.
No, it's not the right yellow.
It's not the right yellow, god damn it.
Or the right blue, but
the blue is nearer but not definitely.
Yeah.
But anyway, she was just being a cheeky chapess.
So Highlanders are our local rugby team.
Okay, that would be our photo.
Yeah. Rugby.
Yeah. But anyway. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. But now, of course, I don't have knitting. But it's okay because I'm not going to take any, dare I say this? I don't think I'm going to take any craft to Peru. I think I'm just going to take my watercolor notepad and my watercolors.
Wow.
Yeah. I actually think my hands need a break. My hands are very tired.
Yeah.
What
are you going to do on the plane?
I'm going to watch all the films.
Oh, good job.
I always do that because the flights cost just under 3,000 each. So in my mind,
You have to
I'm
watch
like,
$3,000 worth of films.
Yeah, I have to watch as many films as possible because that brings down the cost.
Oh, but they're never as good watching them on a plane on the tiny wee screen.
I don't have a problem with that.
Edited
I don't have a problem with that at all. I'm all about being cheap. It works for me.
I'm all about taking a sleeping pill.
Oh no, I would never take a sleeping pill.
You don't, not even for, I do for the long flights, they're great.
Yeah, I find New Zealanders are very free and easy with their sleeping pills.
Yep.
And that shocks me. So no, it just wouldn't occur to me. I think it's fine. I don't sleep because I'm like making the most of, and I don't want to miss out on the like great airplane food that I quite like. I quite like it. So yeah, so I don't think I'm going to take anything because there isn't, oh, do you know what? I could take an embroidery project.
Yeah,
Not cross stitch because, no, that wouldn't work.
At least take a little sewing kit just in case, because you can always buy a shirt and some cottons.
I could embellish my own clothing whilst I'm there, because I'm going to take my tunic. So yeah, that's right. I could do the tunic, and I could just take fabric. The floss.
Yeah, just take yourself a little bit. I'd hate for you to get
But
caught out.
no, but part of the thing, the reason I don't want to take anything is because I want to create room to do drawing and painting.
Then don't take it.
Yeah.
Just draw the line.
I'm going to try to become a different person, and every day go somewhere and have a coffee, because it's certainly more affordable to have a coffee in Peru than it is to have a coffee here. The other day I got charged $8 for a coffee. I almost died. So when I come back off my holiday, the coffee lifestyle is stopping, because it's just ridiculous.
$8 is definitely stopping.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to try, because the girls have... Last time we went on holiday to Peru, they were like, we can't do things every day, it's exhausting. And it hadn't occurred to me that you could go on holiday and not just do things every day. I had to go and do a little poll with friends that go on overseas holidays, and they were like, yeah, you can have every other day a rest day. I was like, really?
No, you've got to make the most of it. When you're travelling from New Zealand, it's got to be one thing after another.
Well, apparently not. So, so my goal is, because I will wake up early because it's holiday. You only wake up later because it's work. When it's holiday, it's wake up early, make the most of the day. But go for a coffee, sit down, people watch, just do a tiny little drawing, just a little sketch, because I am getting quite good, I think.
Good.
Oh, I could show you what I've worked on. I haven't shown you.
Is it up there?
No, I'll just bring it over there. Yeah. Oh, and the other thing as well, I now have 2 backstrap loom classes sorted.
How did you manage that?
So the first class has been quite informally arranged. So the tourism office from Lima put me in touch with the tourism office in Cajamarca, who then put me in touch with a lady. And then when I phoned the lady, her son answered, and I just spoke to the son. She was too shy to kind of go on video call. So I don't feel 100% confident that it's going to go ahead. I mean, I'm hoping to, but they're going to Lima the day after my class to, there's a big fair, probably because it's coming up to Christmas, so they do these expo things. So I'm supposed to have a day with her. Then I've been trying to get in touch with there is a Weavers Association of Cusco, which is a big deal in the world of craft making. So if you read Selvage magazine, you'll know about the Selvage Christmas Craft Fair. It's as big now, I think, as the Santa Fe Craft Market, which is top-notch artisans showcasing their wares. So nothing is cheap, but this is not get your $2 Christmas gift here. It's artisans with naturally dyed yarns and top-notch stuff. Anyway, so the center is in Cusco, which is where we're going to go, and I've been trying to contact them. When you contact them through Instagram, they ping back with a pre-made message, and when you go on the website, the same thing. They don't respond. It doesn't work. It kind of goes funny. So eventually, I don't know how I got hold of an email, and I emailed them, and finally I got an answer. Anyway, we've been toing and froing, and I have paid for 2 days lessons.
Oh, wow.
And that's going to be great, because it's the 2 days when my girls are away doing the Inca Trail.
Good timing.
So I feel really happy that is worked out that way. So yeah, I'm very excited about it. We'll see. I mean, I've said it before, I do find weaving quite boring. But backstrap looms are culturally appropriate for Peru, so I kind of feel like I'm willing to do more in that space.
Plus, I'm assuming it's you'll be learning something new, which I think holds your attention for a bit longer than.
Oh, I've done weaving before,
but not backstrap.
No, but but most of the weaving, I think, is the dressing of the loom. That's what takes the longest.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. I'm just having fun. In both places, it's an indigenous woman that's going to teach me, and I love that I'm actually learning from someone whose knowledge can be traced back to the period of the Incas.
That's so cool.
I just think that's wonderful. think there's still work to do to rescue a lot of the knowledge in Cajamarca in the north of Peru, and it's certainly not as touristy. So it's the infrastructure is not there to kind of support that. But so I'm excited about that. But in Cusco, there's a woman called, she's either called Nilda or Nilda. I think it's Nilda. But this was a woman from one of the communities, and she just decided that things were being lost. In those communities, they had given up all the natural dyeing and they were using synthetic dyes because they were quicker and cheaper, time-wise. So over a number of years, with support from some, like, I don't know exactly the names of it, but like spinners and weavers in America, they've done a ton of work to rescue that all that knowledge and all that work. In fact, I'm going to try and find it on Instagram so I can tell you who they are. So now they go and they're part of the Selvage Fair. That woman Nilda, she's gone. She goes all over the world giving talks and presentations. She's it's an interesting thing because when you talk about indigenous knowledge and the communities, that doesn't mean that these are not educated people. They're bilingual, they're educated, but they have retained their knowledge of weaving, which I think is wonderful. It says here, so it's called Centro Textiles Cusco, so Textile Center of Cusco, and it's founded for weavers from the Andes. Yeah. So, yeah, it's great. I'm very excited. So I'll show you one of the photos. So this is a couple of women from one of the communities, and I'm not going to learn to weave that. So what they teach you to do is like a little belt. But it's going to be very exciting.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I'm very happy about that.
Do they provide everything you need? So you just turn up and...
Yeah, you will just turn up. I'm hoping that I'll be able to bring a couple of backstrap looms. I mean, these are not hard things to do. I've got instructions and I bought myself some broomsticks to do it, but it would be also nice to have wood from Peru. So I'm hoping to, another one, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you'll get, but I'm hoping to buy something in Cajamarca, and then I'm hoping to buy something in Cusco, because it's low investment, both in terms of money and space, because what I love about backstrap looms is that when you want to put it away, you don't need a room for your loom like you do with the Western looms. You just roll it up and put it in a corner.
Nice.
And I know people in those communities, they could have 6 looms on the go. And they're just in a corner. They're not taking up a lot of room. So it's very exciting. I shall keep you posted. I'm going to try and take some footage of it when I'm there to kind of incorporate into one of these videos. Now I'm going to show you what I've been painting.
Oh, you're painting?
I haven't got a lot because I didn't do my homework last time.
Oh, you're
I was
naughty.
moving my house. I know, I was the naughty child.
She's not doing her homework, people. She's going to get banned from the class.
And of course, I'm surrounded by high-achieving PhD friends. They don't understand this concept of not doing the homework. In fact, I was telling my friend Sally that I have a Flosstube. So hi, Sally, if you're watching. Okay. So this is what I worked on in class. Can you see much? The gardeners out there will realize that this is an aquilegia. So this is the seed pod. After it's flowered, it's not dry yet. And this is the little flower, which is going to be purple. So aquilegia is the same as Granny's bonnet. Love it. See it?
Oh, it's so pretty.
Yeah. And of course, I have moaned about class because I do not like rules. But I'm going back. And this is what I did the other day. I started it. It's a weed. I need to finish it. It's going to be really interesting. It's going to be challenging because I have this little bit here. It's a little flower and it's white. So the teacher was kind of explaining to us how one paints a white flower or a white object, because you don't use white paint.
What do you use?
Well, you try and see, because white's not just white. You try and see what colors you can see. So it's quite likely that there'll be some green in that white because it's reflecting from the branches. Sometimes the center of the flower might have some yellow or some blue. So you could end up doing the palest of palest green washes. So it kind of reads white, but it's kind of green. It's all very subtle. So we'll see how that goes. I am very happy to have done this class, even though I whinged a lot. So in case you haven't seen them all, this is another one that I did. And I love how this turned out. I was very happy with this.
I love the stem
and look at this.
and the leaves.
Look at the leaves. I mean, turns out I can draw. I think what this class has shown me, I have quite a scattered brain. Too many ideas floating around my head, and like I go off on tangents. But the reason I love the drawing on watercolor is because it forces me, quite brutally, to calm down and just focus on one thing. And that's very good. So it's not that I can't draw, it's just that I don't give myself time to just sit and draw. So I'm quite excited. I'm gonna try and make it a thing that I do every Sunday. I'm hoping Saturdays sometimes can end up being busy, but on Sundays I'm hoping that I'm going to have time, because I really want to get into drawing the landscapes and birds. I really want to get into drawing birds.
Nice.
So I do love them. And then I thought, when I get good, I can then translate my drawing of a plant to embroidery with thread painting rather than like, because I do quite a lot of flowers now, but they're like, they're not cartoonish, but they're a very basic idea of the embroidery, like quite often an outline only. But it would be good to get into the subtleties of colours and the actual flower. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah.
Great. So I think that's us. So hope everyone has a
lovely December.
Lovely December. If you're having a break, so in New Zealand we have our summer break. So if you're having a break, you have a good one. If you are celebrating any of the various holidays that are on at the moment, have fun. Be safe.
Yeah, I hope you get some good crafting time.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you celebrate in any way, make sure that you're not the only person that's tired at the end of a celebration. Like, everybody chip in and
delegate.
help each other.
Yeah.
Okay, well, have a lovely time, and we will
see you in 2023.
Yeah, I'll post on Instagram, but I'll try and have some video. And yeah, hopefully there will be progress. Kaki
day. No.